Didn't the other kids tell you not to come here? Go back before it's too late!
At the heart of horror, there has always been more than spooks and scares.
Sometimes, it's not what you see, but what you hear.
Welcome to Sound Scary.
Each week, we talk to the artists, the musicians, the fans, the people who haunt the shadowy corners of your mind.
Join us as we delve into the deepest,
Darkest.
and most unforgettable earscapes.
Welcome
To Sound Scary.
I'm a Buffy fan. It's the best show on television, period. There's no, right?
I mean, we're not biased or anything.
And we're not biased, not at all. No.
I'm Kelly Maryanski. I am the choreographer and playing Buffy.
And I am Francesca Vitali, and I am director and playing Anya.
Perfect. Great role, by the way. Why this episode? Why did you want to do this?
Oh my gosh. Well, this was we talked about this like 8 years ago. 2015 was the first time we did the show.
Yes.
2015.
And this is actually how she and I met, was because of this show. She had actually messaged me asking if I wanted to be part of this show. Like, she was like, hey, I've got a role for you. Like, let's meet up, let's talk show. And then we've just...
not director. I was just helping facilitate.
It was kind of your idea.
It was a co-idea
Yeah.
with a few musical theater actors in Chicago who just were super passionate about this episode, about the show, and about the message.
Yeah. So we got together and we put our little brains together, and we originally did this as a staged reading, and it evolved from there. It was supposed to be one night only. I still have the OG poster that we made that it says one night only.
Donation based.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here we are in LA doing the show.
And we had tried to do it last year. So the last time that this was done was pre-pandemic 2019 in New York. So it was off Broadway for a one night with some of the same Chicago cast, and then Broadway and off-Broadway actors were in it. And then the pandemic happened and time disappeared.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so this is really a treat to be able to do this again with my Buffy, and and just it's so exciting. Sorry, I'm brain dead. It's been a long rehearsal day.
We are cramming 3 rehearsals in. We're only having 3 rehearsals before the show and tech. So 3 rehearsals, tech, and then show.
And
so
I want to point out too, like, I'm from Chicago. I have never met any of these people. I love you guys for like accepting me as director lady. This is a brand new cast for me. I've never worked with them before, and like everybody is getting it so right. So much of the time. It's amazing. It's magical. It's Buffy. You know?
I mean, what I saw from the few songs, yes, I agree with you. I'm going to let my friend Ryan here ask a couple questions.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy here is a Buffy professional. Well, I was going to ask, because not all of our audience is versed in Buffy.
What?
Like myself. I'm sorry. I can't control who watches our show, dude.
Sorry, guys. You...
So for folks like me who are coming into
with
this
it.
fresh, what do we need to know leading up to this moment in the Buffyverse?
Ooh, Kelly, you want to field this one?
well, this episode was kind of the turning point for the rest of the series and actually the remaining seasons of the show, because this was kind of a plot point for the rest of it. And also it kind of deals with everything that I feel like I deal with in my daily life, like existentialism, the meaning of anything, and having your friends there to help you get through the hard
Power of friendship and all that.
Power of friendship. Friendship, magic, relationships. So even if you're not super familiar with Buffy, maybe you won't get all of the inside jokes and all of the little things that we're throwing in here, but hopefully you'll still feel something from it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're dead inside.
Well, and I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and say too, like, even if you're being dragged along by your boyfriend or something and you've never seen the show before, this show is very much a concentration of each character's personality. You should be able to get the gist of Buffy is a Slayer. She's got some friends. She's got some friends. They're the Scoobies. They like go and solve mysteries together and kill vampires and all that fun stuff.
There's this like, is he, will he, won't he, other vampire hanging around? What's up with that?
Yeah. And then my character is actually a former demon who gave up her demonhood and is now engaged to Xander. So,
Thank you for filling me in.
With a lot of bunnies, by the way. She's
bunnies.
afraid of bunnies.
The bunnies.
Yeah, she doesn't like bunnies. Don't mess with bunnies.
And watching gold carrots, while the baby is such good eyesight for anyway.
Okay, so let's go a little deeper into the episode. Yeah. So, at this point, Buffy has been, and I love the fact that you guys actually do a previously on Buffy, because she was literally plucked out of heaven. Right. What a deep fucking thing to do. I mean, this episode, there's a lot, what you guys are saying, there's a lot there. What is your favorite, what is your favorite moment in the play? What is your favorite moment?
I know mine. Walk Through the Fire, 100%. It is the showstopper. Like, everybody is so excited about that song. Cast is excited, audience is excited. It always gets just an amazing round of applause. Like, it's such a fun number to do. So definitely my favorite moment.
Yeah, also Walk Through the Fire and the very end of the show. The very end of the show, which we hope will give enough fan service to
so much
everybody.
Fan service. Oh my god,
coming to see it.
So much fan service.
Are you guys adding like, and I know this is theater, so we're not going to do as many Easter eggs in a theater production, but are you doing any Easter eggs in other episodes?
Ooh, not really, no. No.
No gentlemen hanging out? Nothing like
that? No. So this show is also on a budget.
Yes. Sure.
Ooh, so the answer is maybe.
The answer is maybe.
You'll have to come see the show.
Actually, as director, that was my idea. No, I'm kidding.
I'll just edit this.
Sorry, Willow. But no, yeah, it's we haven't really talked about that. I mean, there's so much fan service in this show, though. Like, when I say we are concentrated versions of our characters, we are concentrated versions of our characters. Like, we are a little over the top because that's what everybody remembers, right? Yeah. When this episode came out, I was like 14 years old, and what I remember is just as exaggerated as what we're doing on stage. Where if you watch the episode, it's television acting. It's a lot more subtle. As if the folks in the show could actually sing and dance and perform on stage.
Some of them can.
Some of them can.
Anthony Head.
Anthony Head can. Yeah. Listen. I love Repo just as the next person.
Get enough love.
Oh, Repo? Jesus. Oh yeah, we just talked to that guy.
That's amazing.
I'm just gonna not to offend, but it's a terrible show, but it's such a fun watch.
Oh,
yeah. Whereas our show is fantastic. Duh.
Nice. Now, we asked the other guy, what is your favorite episode of Buffy of all time?
Ooh, it's a tie. It's a tie between, God, I can't remember if the episode name is Just the Gentleman, but I love that episode. It's got Hush. Yes.
Also because the great Doug Jones is in that episode.
Is in it.
We love Doug Jones.
Thank you for mentioning all the people we've been interviewing.
Wait, have you interviewed him? No way.
He's a friend of mine.
Oh my God.
6 degrees of separation. We were like this.
I love Doug Jones.
He's a sweet dude. He's a sweet.
He seems like it.
Sweet dude.
Yeah.
I've heard he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Hush and Tabula Rasa.
Ooh,
I'm gonna throw that in there.
I do like Tabula
Episode
Rasa.
right after Once More Feeling.
So weird you say that. I was literally thinking, when we were prepping for the interview, I was like, I wonder if someone was going to say, I love Tabula Rasa, because not a lot of people say that.
Oh.
So, my God, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
It's a great episode.
2 correct answers in a row.
Yeah. And then I think my second favorite episode is, and this is going to be kind of a controversial opinion, The Body. so sad.
That's a brilliant episode.
It's so sad, but it is some of the best acting that you will see in that show. Yeah. It is such a tangible, like Sarah
work and editing, and
it hurts my soul every time I watch it. But I love that episode. Sarah Michelle Gellar makes me sob in that episode.
So good.
Oh my God.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you got
of
something
course.
to finish up?
I have some more.
Yeah, please go for it.
So kind of a broader strokes question. This musical episode and this show in particular have had such an impact on a large group of people in pop culture. What do you think gives it its staying power?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it is one of the first musical episodes to really I think Xena may have done it first, but Buffy really set the standard for musical episodes. I don't know if you guys ever watched
TV,
and in television, I don't know if you guys ever watched like Once Upon a Time. They did a musical. They tried to do a musical episode, but it's just they didn't get it. They didn't quite get it, and it's somehow Joss, who apparently learned guitar just so he could write this episode.
Composed everything himself.
Had never written a musical before, and he hit it right the first time. It's almost like Casablanca. Everything came together so perfectly. Shouldn't have worked, but it worked. I think that and the time period it came out during, because the episode was what, 2004? 2003
perhaps. 2003.
I'm trying to remember how old I was, but it was
also season 6 started in
episode 7.
89?
Yeah. So for me, actually, Once More With Feeling was the first episode of Buffy I ever saw, because my girlfriends in middle school were obsessed with it. So we listened to that soundtrack all the time. It was a lot of millennials were really kind of coming of age around that time. So I think it also has that nostalgia staying power for sure. Yeah.
Well, Buffy also had and I think, you have a sci-fi show, you have a fantasy show, a horror show. You can delve into very serious topics. I mean, that was the first time we see Willow and Tara really enjoying themselves. Yeah. And that was unheard of back at that day. It really was.
Yeah.
So, and Buffy, the character, it was such an iconic character, such an amazing character. It must be thrilling. It must be utterly thrilling to play this role.
It's kind of weird, but it sort of feels, especially this episode, I feel like I can be very existential and dark, and it felt very natural.
She's my favorite sad girl.
Sometimes I'm very sad. But no, it's really fun. This also was one of the first Buffy episodes that I ever saw, and also coming from this cast is full of musical theater actors, so we're all super
seasoned professionals
and super cheesy and over the top. So it's fun. It's fun to play a role and do a sort of parody of it, rather than I'm not playing Sarah Michelle Gellar, but a parody of that role. So that's been really fun.
Yeah. And for me too, it's a parody of Anya. I'm a lot more aggressive than God, what's that actress's name? I can't remember. Emma Caulfield.
See, I know my shit, guys. Go on.
You know it better than I do. Oh my goodness. It's all very this is basically a parody. So we're really emphasizing the silliness of the characters, the silliness of the show. But there's still those sad moments with Buffy. I mean, she's still ripped out of heaven at the end of the day. It's horrifying and honestly psychologically terrifying. So, and I feel like Kelly best embodies just the Buffy. I know, you do. I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else.
Thank you.
You know that. But Kelly just understands the character, and I've been really, really blessed in the past to have casts that just get it.
And are passionate.
And are passionate. I have the saying I can only care as much as you do, and this cast cares so much, and it really brought almost tears to my eyes yesterday, running through things and seeing people as asking me questions and being hey, I have a note for you, or hey, do you have a question, do you have a thing about this? And I've done this show where that's not always been the case, so it makes me so happy. So yeah.
Well, and so we're looking at May 30th.
Yes.
One night only.
Oh
my God.
Well, she is here from Chicago,
yes.
so
I do not live here.
she came in just for this, so
So I'm Chicago born, not raised, but kinda after 18 million years. This is also my first time in LA. I've never been here before. Thank you. The furthest west I've ever been is Utah, so this has been fantastic.
Much better than Utah.
You touched on this very briefly, but as someone who's also, the behind the scenes of this as well as being on stage, I kind of want to talk to you about your process of bringing this to life and kind of the challenges of adapting it and dual wielding an actor role and a director role.
Yeah, sure. So I will say that a lot of my directing does come from Kent Lewis. Kent was one of our original directors and also played Giles for the majority of our shows.
He also composed most of the tracks that we are using in the show. So everything has been rewritten and remade and handmade by us. So nothing is taken from the actual show for many, many reasons.
Right. But So thanks to Kent, I was actually able to I obviously remember a lot of the original like staging and everything. So a lot of it is him, and I do want to put my thanks out there to Kent. You're amazing. I love you. Thank you. But it's been challenging. It's definitely challenging. What's nice is I know this role muscle memory, so I don't have to think so much about what I'm doing. I can step aside and look at the actors and see what they're doing. The hardest part of directing this show has been not being able to see the stage until the day of. I have not seen the stage. I've never been to the venue, so this is it's going to be exciting. Yeah. Speaking of breaking legs, hopefully you don't break it falling off the stage. I'm like, where are the stairs? Are there stairs? Well, guys, we'll figure it out. That's probably been the hardest thing, is just kind of trying to do some guesswork and be okay, all right. So I have an idea of how big things are. I have an idea of where things should go. Honestly, the most challenging thing is to get people to remember their blocking after 3 days of rehearsal and it's just staying on people.
So it's just such a quick
But
turnaround.
this cast has already got it down. We just ran for the first time part of the first act, and they got it all right. After they remembered better than I did. So it's been challenging, but it's so rewarding. I love this show so much. Buffy means so much to me. I could not do this show without this amazing cast, without my Kelly, without everybody. I'm just so excited for
and we would love to do it again, but I don't know. With everyone being all over the country and timing, and everyone has busy schedules doing other shows and other projects. It's, as you all know, everyone is very busy. Mm-hmm. So probably not, but we don't know.
We don't know. Never say never. Never say never. What? You never seen American Tail? Come on.
I've actually never seen American Tail.
Well,
I can give you crap.
There you go. Come on. There you go.
Never thought I would put American Tail and Buffy in the same interview.
I know, right?
Here we are.
This sounds scary. We do things differently. Yeah, we get weird. Well,
thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you guys. I can't wait till you join us.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah. Please, the 30th, come see us. Come have fun. There's going to be a bar. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. It's going to be so fun.
At
Come
Three
join us.
Clubs. Three Clubs is an awesome venue.
At Three Clubs.
Sun is shining. There's songs going on. Those guys are checking you out. What? What are they looking at? The hotness of you, doofus. Those boys thought I was hot. I'm tired. Oh my god. I'm cured. I want the boys. Do I have to fight to keep you? Because I am not large with the bush.
Hi, I'm Lauren Sperling, and I play Willow.
Yeah, I knew that.
I am Loyal Thomas Ruddell, and I play Spike.
Okay.
He's got the fangs.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing that. I'm new to this conversation. Oh my god.
He's got fangs.
Yeah.
He's a vampire.
I get
Yeah.
it now.
I mean, typecasting,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, you should. I mean, for you guys, what does Buffy mean to you?
For me, it's been a huge part of my life for the last decade. I can say for a fact 10 years ago is when I first started watching Buffy. Thank you, Facebook memories. But because it's a huge thing for me and some of my friends that go to San Diego Comic-Con every year, because on Sunday it's tradition they do Once More with Feeling sing along, and oftentimes Juliet Landau is there and does a little Q&A too. But then they play the episode and you do a sing along, and we always go, and it's so much fun. And then beyond that, it's weirdly been in my life in other ways. I've played Willow once before in a completely different show. I worked at a place where I had to talk about the fact that Buffy filmed there. So it's followed me throughout the last 10 years of my life. So
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, for me, I watched it OG when it was originally on. I had several friends who were just very into the show, and so I just got brought into it. And there's so much, wonderful work done with the writing, the cast, the arc overall, watching where the characters start, where they go, when you get spin-offs like Angel and things like that. It was always, fascinating to me just to see where they were going to go with it. Because it seemed like just as you kind of had an idea where the show was going to go, they'll throw you a curveball and you go, whoa, that's cool,
Well, I always say, and someone earlier mentioned The Body. Yeah. This was a show where there were stakes. Yeah. Oftentimes TV, there are no stakes. Jenny Calendar? Come on. They killed the woman right there. Yeah. I love that character. What do you love most about the show? What episodes stuck out with you besides, of course, this amazing Once More with Feeling?
Yeah. I mean, I know it was mentioned as well, but definitely Hush is one of them. And thankfully, that was the one I got to talk about at my old job. But because it is so different. I think it's almost hard, though, to choose just one, because I feel like within the genre of horror, sci-fi, fantasy they were one of the first that also kind of branched out, not only with the musical episode, but they, throughout the course of the 7 seasons, they're all over the map with how kind of campy and silly it is at the beginning, when they're young and just kind of coming into the roles, and then like you said, touching on those more serious subjects as we go throughout. So
Brilliant. What about you?
For me, I would have to say I believe it's season 5, episode 1, Dracula. For reasons I cannot divulge, I've always had a strong connection to Dracula. And so for me, I really appreciated, there's so many different stories and versions of Dracula. And I always really appreciated the way that Joss handled Dracula in particular. They did Dracula right. They showed that the lore of vampires that so frequently now is popularized is the idea of Dracula, but not necessarily true of vampires. Buffy always handled vampires right. When you came to things like vampire lore that we go to Dracula for, they actually kept that separated. And then when they brought in Dracula, they did a great job of delineating where is a vampire and where is Dracula. And I loved the way that was handled.
Yeah, I agree. Now I'm going to give you.
Thank you kindly.
Ask questions.
I shall do that. So I have, you both play iconic characters to the point that even newbies such as myself are familiar with them. So kind of individual questions pertaining to that. First for you. Your character kind of means a lot to people for kind of its representation and its, this iconic pop culture figure from our childhoods and beyond. Stepping into that role, kind of what does that mean to you, and kind of what was your process of becoming Willow?
Yeah, so it is, sorry, you can hold that if you want. Okay. Like I said, this is my second time playing Willow, and so this time it's kind of muscle memory at this point, and she's actually not heavily featured in this episode at all, and I think that's because we get to the, spoilers, Ryan, Dark Willow arc not too long after this, yeah. So actually, you were talking about Yellow Crayon earlier, and that is also, for obvious reasons, such a big favorite of mine is that Dark Willow Xander moment.
Just excellent.
Yeah, so good. But I think it's because she is someone who throughout the series we do get to see grow from this nerdy, awkward girl. She comes in literally into her powers as a witch and becomes this badass lady, and then also becomes open about the fact that she's at least lesbian, if not bi, since, you know, she starts out dating dudes and whatever. But so like it is a lot of weight on your shoulders to step into a role like this. But going into it prior, the last show I did where I played her, we did have that arc of Willow going into Dark Willow. So it was kind of, I'm obviously very nerdy and awkward, but also kind of gothic. So like, I feel like it's kind of the duality of me within one character, which is really fun. So to kind of focus on when is she the nerdy, almost kind of princessy, and then when is she like the badass scary lady. So,
and for you, you know, you're a character who is iconic in the vampire lexicon. Stepping into this role, what are you channeling? What are you bringing into it to kind of have the physicality of a vampire? And what is going on during your performance that you're bringing to the stage of vampire performance?
Well, I do have, I hate to say it, a lot of experience playing vampires, and for those
why am I not surprised
who are seeing this right now, my hair will be spike blonde for the performance,
and mine will be red, Willow red. Don't worry.
Black trench coat?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's a short trench coat, but yeah, it still checks out. So, sorry, where was?
Oh, I just was more wondering, like, I guess this is even broader now that you've been a vampire several times. What goes into creating a impactful vampire performance?
Well, I think, personally, I think the thing that connects me most to Spike is, especially from his introduction and his overall arc in the show, and his connection to Buffy that we see, and as it changes and develops, and that kind of adversarial dynamic that he has with, you know, the Scoobs. To me, like, the thing that I connect with most is his connection with Buffy, and that for me in this show especially is the most important part for Spike. He's looking for that connection, and like he says, you know, she makes him feel alive. She makes him feel something. And a lot of times, you know, playing vampire roles, it's more just about lust or greed or thirst, if you will. And Spike is feeling other things that he thought were dead in him. And I love that.
It's really cool. I mean, you brought up the first time Spike ever showed up, and I'll never forget Drusilla and him driving out. It's just so amazing, right?
Drusilla is also my other favorite. Oh, so
yeah, she's amazing. She's
amazing. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now this is we'll throw a fun one out here. So this is obviously, like I've mentioned in the previous ones, an iconic musical TV episode. What TV show doesn't have a musical episode that you think should have one?
Good question.
Ooh. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised, and the nerds might come for me. I might be wrong with this one, but I don't think Doctor Who has had a musical episode yet. Oh. And that surprises me. I feel like that would work really well, because they're another show that tackles so many genres within the sci-fi genre. But it is more episodic often, so it wouldn't quite work in the same way that Buffy does. I feel like, as far as like the characters kind of breaking out. But
I'd agree.
Staying within that vampire realm, I would love to see what we do in the shadows, have fun, and do something.
Yes.
I mean, how cool would it be to have Sweet visit them?
Right?
Little reprise of the role. It'd be a lot of fun.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I feel like anything Taika does, if there's a musical episode in it, like Our Flag Means Death, could also have a fantastic musical episode.
Oh, for sure. So. Absolutely. I always feel like I feel like they have done that. You know, it's just something in that particular show, Our Flag Means Death, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like a full musical theater pirate episode.
I'm down for this. Well, guys, it was amazing. We were so excited for the show, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Guys, sounds scary. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anthony Stewart Head was kind of the most awesome guy, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to have this guy. You don't know anything.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, you know who.
Buffy novice.
He's a Buffy novice.
So I'm new to this world.
You are playing Giles.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me about playing the role. Tell me about how much of a Buffy fan you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I've been a big fan of his for a very long time because after Buffy, he also did Rocky Horror. And I've loved that show for a really long time. So I learned about Buffy in college. I was actually more of a Charmed guy growing up. You know, you're going to pick your shows about witchcraft and magic. But my friends were super into it. And so I'd seen this episode before. And they asked me to play Giles. And I was like, yeah, of course. And I have the accent. Why not? Let's do it. So we had a great time.
You do have the accent. What are your accent specialties?
I do that British accent quite a lot for auditions. I also speak French, so I have the French accent a lot. And I also spent a couple months studying in Ireland, so I do an Irish accent as well.
Nice. Let me get your name, too. Just tell the people your name.
Nathaniel Dolquist.
Now, one of the things, you're taking a property that has been very, very influential for decades. What was how early on were you introduced to it? How young were you?
I think I saw my first episode of Buffy when I was like 10. I mean, it was like a while. Yeah, it was when I was quite young. And what I really remember and what was very important to me is that my friends in college, especially my female friends, found a lot of empowerment through it, especially because of the strong female characters and all the Joss Whedon controversy aside. Like, it has really been very influential, especially for my female friends, because of these characters and because of the things that they go through and their centrality to the plot and the story. And it was early for that in the world of this kind of like network TV. So it's a really important piece of history, honestly.
And I agree with you. I think it's one of the most important TV shows of the past few decades. Do you have any questions that you want to ask?
Yes, sir, I do. Now, for someone like myself, who I must admit am very new to the Buffy world, every time I see listicles about the top musical episodes of TV, this one is always at the peak. What is it that about this episode that you think gives it its staying power in our pop culture consciousness?
Well, it was one of the first TV shows to do this, and the whole like one musical episode sort of caught on and became very famous after this, but it was a pretty novel format at the time. It also comes pretty deep into the Buffy, into all of the episodes. It's in season 6, I believe, yeah?
Yes. Yep.
So it's season 6, and so everybody knows the characters really well, and this is a really nice surprise for the audience. And there is a lot of crossover between the people who watch Buffy and people who love musical theater. Sure. And so I think this is a really important way to sort of develop and advance the plot for these characters, and it came at a really important time in the series as well to move all of that forward and get people to really keep invested through the rest of season 6.
Great. And besides this episode, what is your personal favorite episode of Buffy?
Oh man, besides this one, that's really tough. I am a big fan of Willow's entire story arc. And so as she's coming into her power and as she's learning more about herself, and especially with sexuality and all these other things, it's a really important set of themes that she goes through. And I know that a lot of my friends who love the show love her the most as well. Because like Buffy's great, but Willow goes through a lot and really takes a couple of turns. So she's a pretty cool character.
Can I just say yellow crayon? That's all. Yeah. That's it.
I'll get that eventually.
You'll get that eventually.
Awesome. And can you kind of talk us through your character's arc through this musical and in the episode itself?
Yeah, sure. So what I've learned going through the episode is that Giles is really preoccupied with his relationship with Buffy at this time, and because she's clearly gone through something that she's not talking about, and so he's really trying to support her, but like a little burned out because he's just doing a lot of the grunt work and she's not really invested. And I'm a teacher myself, so I really get that whole like relationship with a student or someone that you're mentoring, and so he is really trying to figure out what's going on with her, and he doesn't quite get there by the end because Buffy has to come to that herself, and she has to tell all of her friends and tell the Scoobies what's going on. But he's definitely got his eyes on her, trying to figure out what's going on, and we have one more demon to fight, so better do it.
And what has been the most surprising challenge of taking this from TV to stage?
There is a very different format of acting between TV, film, and stage, in my opinion. Some actors don't feel that way, but I feel it very strongly, and a musical theater is something I really, really love, so that's a lot of fun. But the blocking is different, because we can't cut back and forth, so it's not as quick. It's not an editor's job. It's our job as actors to keep all of that stuff really humming along, and you don't get a second chance on stage. And we're doing it for one night, so you come and see it one time, and that's going to be what it is, so...
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome talking to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.